Hello YouTube. So this is a viewer's request. This is actually a video that I have wanted to do for quite some time, but I wasn't exactly too sure how to approach the subject. Because the subject at hand is really, in my opinion, it was a personal preference. We all have our own individual beliefs, and we have our own ideologies, and we have our way of worshiping that makes us feel connected with whatever it is that we perceive as our belief. So when I first heard of Christian Wicca and Christian paganism, immediately what came to my mind was it's an oxymoron. So let's get right into this before I get too far ahead of myself. So the term Christian pagan is actually pretty easy to address because you would not have the term pagan without the word Christian. Same thing as you would not have infidels without the idea of Islam, or Gentiles without Judaism. So the idea of calling oneself a Christo-Pagan makes absolutely no sense. I'm just going to put my foot down right here. This is my flat out opinion. It doesn't make any sense. It is like calling something up, down, or black, white. It just doesn't make any sense. We would not have the word pagan if it wasn't for the word Christian. Pagan does not mean anti-Christian. Pagan meant country dweller, but it also came to be anyone who did not follow the three main religions of monotheism. That is Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But more on this later on. So primarily what I'm going to focus on in this video is the term Christo-Pagan, or as one website prefers to call it, Trinitarian tradition. Now, again, I just would like to emphasize that these are my own opinions. I do not speak for all Wiccans, and all Wiccans may or may not agree with my viewpoints. So, the term Christian Wiccan. First of all, let's give each religion out there its due respect. Christianity deserves a certain amount of respect. Wicca deserves a certain amount of respect. I would have to look it up, but there are approximately at least 2,600 individual religions out there. Now, each religion has its own philosophy, ideology, dogma, belief system, and each individual religion, in my opinion, is true for the individual person who holds that belief. So, with that said, I've come to the conclusion that you cannot just slap two words together and create some new tradition and call it by the same names of those other two traditions. It's not only is it ridiculous, absurd, it's offensive. It's an insult to those religions. If you are going to take two religions, two separate religions, like let's say Judaism and Rastafarianism, and you're going to somehow force those two together, then come up with a different term for it. Don't call it Judeo-Rastafarianism. That doesn't make any sense because it no longer has anything to do with Judaism. It no longer has anything to do with Rastafarianism. It's some kind of bastardized melding of the two that you've done. The same thing with, let's say, Hasidic heathenism. It doesn't make any sense. Islamic Wicca. Islamic Wicca does not make any sense. Those are two separate traditions. So it's not that it's an oxymoron. It is two individual religions deserving of absolute respect. Now that I've put my opinion out there, let's look at these two religions and let me really strengthen this point for you. So let's do a comparison of Wicca and Christianity. Next, let's look at ethics. Now, I do need to make a point here because there are no, generally, at least not to my knowledge, there are no widely accepted group of ethics that every single Wiccan adheres to. So there are many Wiccans out there who do not follow these ethics, and there may be some Wiccans who follow some of these ethics, but not all of these ethics. Now, these principles I summarized from the 13 Principles of Wiccan Belief from the American Council of Witches, and again, the link is below. And many traditions have branched off of some of these, so I'm not listing every tradition in Wicca. This is just a very broad interpretation of a Wiccan ritual. Obviously, it's not going to cover everything, and your tradition may differ from this. So this is just a quick comparison of the two separate and independent religions of Wicca and Christianity.